Welcome back to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. It is such a wonderful day when we have another author on the show. But before we get started, we air every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, we're on iTunes, iHeart, Google Play, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, and all the places that you would listen to podcasts. Thank you again so much for tuning in. I want to welcome to the show. It's just, we're just going to jump right in because this is an important subject today. And the author here today is Timothy Segrest. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. Okay. So I hear you served in the Army. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome.
Wow. So when you retired from the Army, you know, when did you figure out that you were, going to write a book and you retired, or did you have a level of PTSD? I mean, how did that all kind of get into that?
Well, I was medically boarded out because my back was in too bad a condition
Oh.
to do my job.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in for 20 years, and they offered to medically board me out.
Okay.
So I retired at that point.
Mm.
And I had written a couple of poems that day when I was going to actually get out. And I was looking at about a year to get medically boarded out. I got to go through all the paperwork, interviews, and medical reports and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was suffering from PTSD pretty bad.
Mm.
And at that point, I kind of cruising story. I got a hold of my friend's .45 caliber pistol.
Oh no.
And I got a pen and paper in one hand and a gun in the other. And I decided I was going to make a choice at that point whether I was going to stay alive and write, because that made me feel good, or use a gun. And I chose to write.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What suspense. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so happy that you did choose to write.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. So, all right. So that you chose to write, how long ago was this?
That was on February 2nd of 2003.
Wow. Wow, what a decision. I commend you for that decision. I really
Thank
do.
you.
I really do. And I'm so happy to be speaking with you today. Wow. So you wrote. So how did you decide what to write though? I mean, there are so many different elements to and levels to your recovery and you deciding to write.
Yeah, the poems, they just came to me.
Mm.
One was the Dream of Death, and then I forget what the other one was. But I really don't know what happened at that point. I just was sitting there on the cot, that afternoon, and just picked up the pen and wrote the two poems, and it was just at that point ready to do that, and
Mm-hmm.
it just made me feel so good that I can write and get my feelings out of paper.
Mm-hmm.
That I chose to go that way with it.
Wow. Did this affect your family life at all? Your PTSD and
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of coming back. How did that all work out for you?
It was very hard. I went through a divorce, and it wasn't everybody's fault. It was just that the PTSD was at that point I wasn't handling it very well.
Mm-hmm.
So we were divorced, and but yeah, it affects the family a great deal because PTSD is very much a family disease, in my
Right.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you act how do you say, very strange sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And the family members, it's hard for them to sometimes understand why you do the things that you do.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And does PTSD help you, or does it hurt you in your writing?
Well, it helps and it hurts. It helps in the fact that I can get my feelings on paper. I can see them. I can visualize them, and then I can close the page, and at least for a brief time, could be minutes, could be hours.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I have closure on that particular feeling, and I can put it aside. But it also hurts because I have to relive and go through those feelings again.
Mm-hmm.
To get them out on paper.
Wow. Wow. Should other veterans, find this kind or some kind of a release for their PTSD?
I think you have to. You have to find some way to release the pressure you go through. And I don't care what I don't care if it's finger painting or coloring. I color adult coloring books.
Mm-hmm.
But you need something to get that anxiety out of your body.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because it will hurt you a lot.
Well, what if you stop writing? What would happen? What do you think would happen? Will you ever stop writing?
No. Writing is so much part of my life now that I fear if I ever stop writing, I would probably kill myself.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, no, don't stop.
Because it's just so much a part of me now that and I don't know how it happened. It just I guess God just chose me somehow or in some way to write, and I can't go without it.
Wow. And so, what inspires you to write? And I mean, what do you write about?
I write about a lot of different things. A lot about the way that I'm feeling at that particular time. But I have triggers. Anybody with PTSD has triggers, and a trigger will trigger an emotion, a feeling, memory, and that's what I write about, is whatever pops into my head.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just I like to kind of escape this reality and go to another reality, and that's why I write some of my fantasy stuff. I short stories that are kind of off the wall topics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I go with that.
Who do you write for, though? I mean, who, what is your target audience, basically?
Well, I'm trying to reach the veterans. I write the poetry. I write for me, because it's so much part of my life now.
Mm-hmm.
But I also write to let the other veterans know out there that they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
That no matter what they've been through, there is somebody out there that can understand what they're feeling and what they're going through. And I'm hoping to decrease the amount of veterans that commit suicide on a daily basis. And right now, I think it's 23. I think.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to reach some of those to bring that number down, hopefully to zero someday.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now, do you take any medications? And if you do they affect your writing?
Say that again?
Do you take any medications? And if you do take medication for PTSD, does it affect your writing?
It does. I take, I won't go into the names because I can't pronounce them right. But, it affects me. It because sometimes I'm feeling down and depressed, and I'll take my medication in the morning, and then I would feel a little better, and it helps me kind of. It affects how I look at things, and how I look at things is going to determine what I write about.
Wow. So, is there anything that you won't write about, like taboo or anything like that?
Not much. I write about pretty much everything, because I write about feelings of suicide, feelings of death in general, feelings of dying. So there's really not any topic that I would probably stay away from, and that's where my work is kind of hard for some veterans to read. I understand that.
Right.
But I think with PTSD, you have to kind of how do I say this? Gotta fight fire with fire.
Okay.
You know. And that's where I look at things.
So you don't like water down anything. You pretty much put it the way it is.
Yeah. I don't sugarcoat anything. If it's using the F word, it's used. I write it.
Oh wow.
You know, if it's talking about putting a blade to your wrist, I write about it. That's the feel. That's what I'm feeling, and that's the particular demon I'm trying to fight. But that's what's going to go on paper.
Now, I have a question. Who's Jim Talbert?
Oh, yeah. Jim Talbert, he's the part of my character that's in my novels.
Okay.
And he is, let's see, he is kind of like me, but he can do things that most people want to do, but they can't because of going to jail or something like that. Where Jim Talbert, in the storyline, he has help from the government, but he can get away with doing things. And what it is that he goes into certain cities, and he goes into the cities and he fights the evil in that city, whether it be a person or a group, and takes care of them and eliminates them.
Now, how did you come up with him? I mean, is he like your alter ego or your superhero character for you?
Yeah, he's my alter ego. Because you drive down the road and somebody cuts you off, or somebody's on the phone while they should be driving, and it irritates you, and you wish you can just express the way that's feeling.
Yeah.
The anger and the frustration, but you can't, because you just can't. That's the way it is. Well, he can, and he does. So
I hear that. So how many poems do you write every week?
I probably write about anywhere from, I want to say 5 to 10 or 15 poems a week.
Wow. And okay, so you have something called Snake Riddles Poetry. How did you come up with Snake Riddles?
Well, Snake was my code name when I was in the Special Forces.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And the riddles is, if you look at my poetry, there's always a message in the poetry. And it's kind of like a riddle, because you kind of have to search for it, and it's not always plain to see. So sometimes a guy kind of hunt for the message, and it's usually on the upside.
Okay.
But it's not always evident.
Okay.
So that's where the riddles comes in.
Oh, I got you. Well, that's kind of clever. That is really cool. So what can people learn from your books?
They can learn a sense of what people with PTSD are going through, what they're feeling, what their emotions are, and hopefully understand a little bit about them, so that if the veteran is maybe acting a little strangely, like he's trying to find isolation or something, the people that read my book can understand why he is doing that, and can hopefully kind of understand it and help him through the difficult times that you go through when you have PTSD.
I gotcha. Now you have a YouTube video called Gargoyle 2012. Explain that, please. Please explain that.
Well, I did a screenplay. I kind of dabbled a little bit in doing one, and I wrote an actual play for the stage. And when I was in where was I? I was in New Mexico, Albuquerque. I was gonna do a segment of the play using a local theater group. Well, the logistics of having it done was just too much to handle, because I kind of had to do it on a really slim budget.
Right.
And one of the guys in the group said, well, why don't you make a YouTube video out of it? And I'm not I know very little about computers and all that kind of stuff. And he had a friend that does YouTube videos, and we just got together, and it's a 20-minute video, and it kind of goes through a particular demon that I fight every day, and kind of gives an idea of what is going on in the mind when maybe a veteran has a panic attack or a flashback or something like that.
Gotcha.
Kind of gives you insight what's going on in his mind.
Wow. Well, I mean, there is a lot of things that people don't really know about PTSD, and obviously reading your poetry and your books, I think people can learn, about what it is that people go through on a daily basis. Do you recommend people who don't have PTSD to actually, read these poetries, maybe to get a better understanding of what people go through every day with PTSD?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you don't, you could be walking down the street and see a veteran that maybe is going through a particular hard time, and he's acting strangely, and you can kind of understand and maybe approach him and shake his hand, and tell him welcome back, and make him feel like it. And the people don't realize just that little bit of an interaction could mean the difference between life and death in some cases.
Right, it can. Definitely. Wow. Well, I want to thank you, Timothy, for being on the show, and thank you for bringing. Thank you for not leaving this earth so soon, and being a help.
Oh, thank you.
That to me is amazing. The choice that you made to stay and to help others by your poetry, by writing. My gosh, you're an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on the show, and I hope I've helped in some way. That's
definitely.
My goal is to help other veterans. So
definitely. And where can people get your book, Perfect Flaws, or any other book that you have?
Yeah, any place where you can order a book, go through Amazon.
Okay.
Or KDP, Kindle Publishing. Any place where you can order them.
Okay,
or
great.
you just go online, and they're all right there. And I've got like 20 books out now, so
wow. Okay.
quite a bit to choose from.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that information for author Timothy Segrest will be in our description box right below this interview so that you can copy and paste that and go into your browser. Thank you again so much, Mr. Segrest, for being on the show. It has been such an honor and a pleasure, and thank you so much for serving this country. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, ma'am, and I appreciate you and everybody out there. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in again to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond, and author Timothy Segrest from the book Perfect Flaws and many, many, many more. Don't forget to go to Amazon and just go ahead and look that up. And if you have someone that has PTSD, go ahead and read those poems. I think it really will give you an insight on what they deal with every single day of their lives. And again, thank you so much for being an avid listener. And don't forget to dare to be different, guys. Until next time. All right. Bye.